So we are 4 days away from the 2024 presidential election. This is my final prediction. I'm mean, looking at polls and at early voting to see who wins the 7 battleground states. But just a quick recap, let's start with the safe states. For Harris, it's California, Oregon, Washington State, Colorado, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Hawaii. For Trump, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, the Dakotas. I'll cover Maine and Nebraska later. Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia, and South Carolina. Oh wait, I forgot. Maryland, Delaware, and DC. Safe Harris. Just say blue states. So far, that's 190 Democrats, 118 Republicans. Now for the likely blue. New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire, likely red, Iowa, Texas, Florida, Ohio. Now let's cover Maine and Nebraska. I think Harris wins Maine and Trump wins Nebraska easily. Harris easily wins Maine's first district, and Trump easily wins Nebraska's first and third district. Trump is likely to win Maine's second, and Nebraska's second leans Harris. Oh no, he's likely Harris now. And now I forgot Alaska for likely Republican. And now let's look at both polls and early voting in the final 7 states to get those 93 electoral votes. Go to competitiveness. As of the latest polls, it looks as though Arizona and Michigan are the safest state for each side. Let's look at how they're voting so far. Michigan is 47% Democrat, 42% Republican right now. And Arizona is 41% Democrat, 41% Republican, 34% Democrat. So it's safe to say Arizona goes for Trump and Michigan for Harris. That leaves us at 241 for Harris and 230 for Trump. Next up, we got Georgia and North Carolina being the next two safest states for Trump. Let's see how they're voting. Georgia's 48% Republican, 45% Democrat, and my home state of North Carolina is pretty even. 34% Republican, 33% Democrat, and 33% other. Georgia and North Carolina, I feel, are safe for Trump. We're getting down to the final three states with a margin of less than 1%. Wisconsin shows Harris leading by 0.7%. Let's see how they're voting. 41% other, we're not factoring that in, but 34% Democrat, 25% Republican. I doubt Wisconsin's going to flip so dramatically this late based on both of these factors. We are left with the minimum number of electoral votes Kamala Harris gets being 251 to 262 for Trump. Nevada is currently at 0.7% Trump. Let's see how they're voting so far. 39% Republican, 35% Democrat. So this one goes slightly for Trump. I do believe 268 is the minimum number of electoral votes Trump gets. And now for the closest one, Pennsylvania, the state that will decide it all. According to the latest polls, Trump is 0.5% in the lead. Let's look at how they're voting. Right now, it's 57% Democrat, 33% Republican. It really can go either way. If we're to believe the polls, then Trump wins with 287 electoral votes. But if we were to go by how how the state votes leading up to the election, then Kamala Harris would win with just enough votes. This one's really up in the air. Like, more than the other 6 battleground states. I'm someone who voted early. Now, before I tell you who I voted for, let me explain. I was originally, since before Biden dropped out, I was originally going to vote for Cornel West, an independent. my vote would not count toward the Electoral College. But then I saw some source saying Cornel West was not on the ballot in North Carolina, so I just swallowed my pride and voted for Harris. But then I saw when it was too late that he was on the ballot. Had I been paying closer attention, I would have seen Cornel West and voted for him. Did not think that would take me to a pop up, but yeah, it's close enough and shows two different things enough that Pennsylvania could honestly go either way. So here's what the map would look like if Trump won Pennsylvania versus Harris. Trump's chances of winning the Electoral College haven't been this good since Joe Biden was still in the race. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but just go out and vote if you are a U.S. citizen